This is Join Us in France, episode 195. Bonjour, I'm Annie, and Join Us in France is the podcast where we talk about France, its many quirks, its history, its language, and of course, destinations in France you want to learn about because hopefully you'll be visiting soon. On today's episode, I chat with David Palachek about how to dress for Paris. We'll be sharing actionable advice you can use to pack your suitcase for Paris and look great in the city of light. If you're interested in dressing for Paris, you should also check out episode 137, The Paris Packing List. Show notes and photos for this episode are on joinusinfrance.com/195, the number 195. Folks who are subscribed to the email list will get the extra having to do with this episode in a few days. Join Us in France is brought to you by Patreon supporters and Addicted to France, the small group tour company for people who want to enjoy France to the fullest with zero stress. We have a tour coming up this month, and you can check it out on addictedtofrance.com. Join Us in France needs your support. To see all the ways you can support the show, visit joinusinfrance.com/support. Hello, David, and welcome back to Join Us in France.
Bonjour, Annie.
Bonjour. Ça va très bien, et toi?
Ah, très bien aussi.
Tu as fait des progrès.
Ah, merci.
Parfait. Okay, so this podcast is not going to be in French. I am very happy to have David back on the show because he's been on 2 episodes before. That was episode 111, which I called Two Dads and a Child in Paris, and 112, Two Dads in Paris, because you had adventures in Paris, and it took us a while to get through talking about them. And you're an architect?
I am. Yep, I'm a designer in New York. We work a lot in Manhattan and Brooklyn, so...
You love beautiful things.
Yeah, I can't always afford them, but I do love them.
Isn't that the story of our lives?
Exactly.
And how many times have you been to Paris?
We've been 3, and we are going for our 4th time at the end of June.
Very good. Okay. Now, we need to make it clear that we're not designers. I mean, not clothes designers. We're not fashion people. We're just regular people who care about packing the right things for Paris.
Exactly. It's an art.
Right. And who want to dress appropriately for the occasion. That's more my whole life. I have never had much interest in fashion, unlike people around me, but I do want to dress appropriately for the occasion. So I think even for people who are not super interested in fashion, this could be a good episode to listen to because they will learn some stuff that they can put to good use.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that even if you're not interested in fashion, there is an art to dressing when you travel so that you fit in because it actually makes your trip better. I mean, the way that people react to you if you're dressed in a respectful way, I think that opens up a lot more doors than if you go in and you kind of look like a typical tourist.
Right. Now, one thing I have to mention is that you don't really have to change how you dress just because you're coming to Paris. If you're looking forward to learning about the way French people dress, and if you like fashion and you want to do this in Paris, then do it and enjoy it. And if you don't feel bad, I bless you. I'm a French person and I bless you to not give a hoot. Because there are French people who don't care about clothes. We are in the minority, but we're here too. And so, just be who you are.
It's really funny as I was thinking about this podcast, Annie, I was thinking about different people that I've seen who were French. And one of probably the most French places that I've been is to the Musée des Arts Forains.
Yeah.
And we went during Christmas time, and it's a place that people take their kids. And being in an area that really we were the only non-French tourists that were there, so it was a lot of people with their kids. And I have to say that the French parents pretty much looked exactly like American parents would have.
There you go. Yes, because they're out on a family outing. They're not going to work. They're not going to somewhere fancy. They can just dress however they want. So that's what you'll find most of the time if you're just tooling around France. But of course, if you're going to special occasions, that's pretty different. Now, some of the advice I'm going to be sharing comes from the three very stylish women that I know. It's my sister, my niece, and my daughter's girlfriend. They all love looking great. They love turning heads, and they do that, and it's wonderful. And they're very different ages. Well, my sister is turning 50, and the other two are closer to 20. So there's going to be some of those age differences as well. And I'm going to let David give advice to the men because, he cares about. Yes, you're one. You're one of them. So shall we get started with some general recommendations?
Sure, definitely. Annie, I don't know if you want me to take this one, but one of the things that I do when I pack, and not just when I go to Paris, but when I travel in general, I tend to try and take a lot of basic stuff with me, and I like to try and stick within one color range so that I can mix and match depending on what I need to wear on what day. Mm-hmm. So, I usually take like a pair of jeans, and maybe I'll take a pair of twill jeans or canvas jeans, and then layer in a lot of basic sweaters, so crew necks and V-necks and things like that. And then, what I find is you can't really ever figure out what their locals are wearing until you get there, because even if you've been someplace like 10 or 20 times, fashion changes so quickly and it varies from city to city. You really don't get a sense of it until you're on the street. So what I like to do is, just take really basic clothes that I know, everything's going to be comfortable. I don't really have to think about everything because it's all in the same color range. And then I usually will add an accessory that I buy when I go on my trip.
Right.
I like wearing a lot of scarves, which I actually started buying for the first time when I went to Paris my first time. So what I'll usually do is wear, really basic clothes and buy a scarf or buy a belt or something like that and add that to whatever I've taken with me. And then it's a souvenir whenever I come back.
Right. That sounds fabulous. And it's true that in France you will see a lot of scarves, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, you have to pay attention to how well your clothes will travel because most of us don't want to buy a whole new wardrobe just for travel, but leave your wrinkly stuff at home because hotels, they will loan you an iron, most of them, but it's going to be a really basic iron and they probably won't have an ironing board. And, you're on vacation. You don't really want to spend your time ironing. So pay attention to that.
One thing that I do just to it's a trick that I've learned is, I take a lot of knits, like I said, sweaters and things like that aren't going to wrinkle. But if I do bring something that I need to get the wrinkles out of, a lot of times I'll put it in the bathroom when I'm taking a shower. So at least the steam in the bathroom will help, ease some of the wrinkles.
Oh, that's clever.
I'm full of them.
Yes, yes. That's really clever. I hadn't thought of that. That's very good. Yeah, my husband actually has one of these steam, it's a little travel steam iron, so he can just he can steam his clothes on the rack, and they hang better. And anyway, I have never seen that thing in operation, but it's good for business travel.
Yeah, you just have to trust them. There's also a spray that you can buy that's a wrinkle relaxer, but I've never actually traveled with it. I've just heard about it.
I have to say that one of the gentlemen that I met on one of our tours, he looked fabulous every day. He looked like he had just picked up the shirts from the dry cleaners. They were,
wow,
starched and beautiful, beautiful. And he said he just bought several shirts just for this trip and they looked fabulous, and that they weren't starched. They just were made for that. So I know there are products out there. If you want to go after that, you can find things like that. And if I find some, I'll put links on the show notes. I haven't looked into it yet. So, all right, let's talk about the kind of the secret sauce that most French fashion people follow. And I wasn't even aware that there was a secret sauce because I just never ask myself anything, but it was right under my nose the whole time. And now that I've talked to several people about it, I can see it. So here's what I've learned. You have to break dress codes on purpose, thoughtfully. So no matter what you do, once you show that you know the code and you know how to break it, it shows that you've given it some thought, and they will give you lots of credit for that. So it used to be that men wore the 3-piece suits, and the women, they wore the matched jewelry. You have to have the matching necklace and earrings and blah, blah. And we don't do that anymore, do we?
No, and actually that makes it a lot easier to travel. I was thinking about that as well, and I think I'm really lucky that once we started traveling, the entire world has become so casual. You can get away with wearing a pair of jeans as long as you throw a jacket on it to a pretty nice restaurant.
Exactly.
So if I had to travel with like a suit and a suit bag and things like that, it would just be a real pain in the butt. But
it even used to be that women would match the color of their shoes to the color of their bag, or to the color of their lipstick. That's done. Don't do that. You're supposed to wear together items that really weren't supposed to go together in the past, and you do people mix and match formal and casual. So like in the same outfits, in an outfit you have 5 things. Maybe I'm simplifying it, but you have the shoes, the pants, the shirt, the jacket, and accessories. So let's think that if you're choosing casual shoes because you're touring and you want your feet to be comfortable, then some of the rest needs to be formal. So you go with casual shoes, a casual shirt, but formal slacks, and a jean jacket. And then you can have a showy bag or a scarf or something like that.
Right. When I travel, I usually take a jacket that I can wear as a windbreaker, but it's also something that's tailored like it's a sports coat. So that actually really helps me, so that if I'm going to a restaurant or someplace that's a little bit nicer, I can throw it on and wear it with a pair of jeans, be really comfortable, but then at the same time look a little bit dressier. But then at the same time, I can wear the same jacket to keep myself warm.
Right.
You would, like a windbreaker or something like that.
Right. And this is another thing that my sister told me, is that there are times during the year where, especially the summer, where you'll probably want to wear mostly light colors. But if you're dressed in all white, it might look a little strange, right? All white is like, what? But if you mix and match textures, then your all white will look fine. So you have like linen white, maybe you have a shiny glossy white on top. You can have a cotton white, like your white cotton shoes. And you just mix and match those textures, and all of a sudden being in all white is just fine. It looks good, actually.
You may look a little worse for wear at the end of the day, wearing white in Paris.
And it's the same with people who like to wear all black. You need to not have the same texture of black. Black is black, right? But
actually, black and black is not black. And as a designer, I'm going to have to stop you there. When you wear all black, make sure that you're not mixing like a brown black with a blue black or with a green black. You have to look at them in like a couple of different lights, like sunlight and then incandescent light, to make sure that your blacks are like all the same coloration of black. The color usually will hide in black that you don't notice until like you get out in the sun.
See, I never even thought of that. But you could definitely get different textures of black.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I had never thought of, that I'm going to incorporate in my dress. The other thing my sister told me,
clothes horse against your will by the time we're done.
Well, now I understand why so many women have huge closets. Because if you have to do all this, I'm like, oh, well, then I don't have enough clothes. I need 20 new jackets. Anyway, one of the things that my sister told me is you have to mix old and new on purpose. So if you'd like to wear a beret, for example, which in France is mostly worn by old men, well, you mix it with items that are clearly latest fashion. So maybe you wear fashionable glasses. Maybe you wear a specific type of jacket that's popular right now, and that changes all the time. Maybe you want to wear a skirt with a strange cut, like the skirts from the 60s. So we don't see those very much, but if you mix it with a casual top from the latest trend, you will look really good no matter how old this item is that you're picking out. You look like a trendsetter.
and that's it. It's magic.
Yeah, and people do it. Like, it's really strange. I saw this guy, because since I knew we were going to record this, when I went grocery shopping, I paid attention, right? And so I saw this guy standing there eating he was drinking his coffee in the morning, and he had on a beret, bald head, really beautiful glasses, a big, thick black beard, but really, really well trimmed and just impeccable black beard, and the beret. And he made the beret look really nice. Like, I was like, dude, yeah, you're 30.
Well, I think it's really important to own your clothes and not let your clothes own you, right?
Attitude too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Then also, and maybe I should let you talk about the next thing, the color wheel and pushing the boundaries a little bit, because, there's the classic color coordination rules.
Well, I'm kind of going for it. And I'm right in the middle because we're going in June. I'm in the process of putting together what I'm going to wear when we're there. And this year, because we're going for the first time in spring, the 3 times that I've been to Paris have always been around either the late fall or winter. I've always been there in October. I think we were there in January and February. So this is the first time that I will have been in France in warm weather. So I'm going for it. So I just bought a pair of like really cool shoes. They're cut like wingtips, but they're mesh. So they're super lightweight, and they're actually on a tennis shoe sole. And the sole, they're navy with leather accents, brown leather accents, and then they've got turquoise soles. So they're really unusual, but they're also going to be great to walk in because they're really lightweight and they give a lot of support.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to pair those with, I've got a pair of like khaki colored twill jeans, and then I've got a pair of dark blue overdyed jeans. And because it's me, and I'm not afraid of color, I have a purple jacket that I bought that's a sports coat. That's kind of cut like a Sgt. Pepper's cut. And to top it all off, I went ahead and got a pair of rose gold aviator glasses.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, just embracing the fact that it's going to be the summertime and that you really can play with a lot of colors. Now, my dad, for instance, who's going with me on this trip, is 70 in his late 70s, and he's much more conservative. So, he's sticking to the khakis and the blues and things like that, which will be fine with him. And a lot of it, like you said earlier, is about dressing in a way that makes you feel comfortable.
Right. You do need to be comfortable because you're, on a trip like that, you're going to be walking a lot. You're going to be outside a lot. So, yeah, comfort is important. And
my mom found a place that actually specializes in travel attire, and she got him a suede sports coat that, again, is wrinkle-free, so he can wear it on the plane or he can bundle it up in his luggage. But he took it out the last time that we were in Europe, and he looked great.
Yeah, suede sports coat. That sounds really interesting because the texture of it is visually interesting.
Yeah, and it was actually, because it's a travel sports coat, was weaterproof as well. So it was waterproof, but it was definitely water resistant.
Yeah. I do have to say that you want to push the boundaries as far as colors. You want to be as far as you feel comfortable. But tie-dye is not a thing in France. I'm very sorry about this because I love tie-dye. But no, you don't hardly ever see any of it unless it's somebody doing they're doing work in the garden or they are jogging or something like that. I wear them at home. I wear them when I'm walking dogs, but I can't wear them to go to work. Just don't.
Sorry, deadheads.
Yes. I'm not even a deadhead. I don't know why I like tie-dye.
You're a child of the 60s.
I am. Let's see. So here are some when I was having this conversation with my sister about clothes, she was mightily surprised, by the way, that I would ask her these questions. But these are some of the things that she said. She said, when you go to visit the Eiffel Tower or anything else tourist-like, don't wear heels. This is a woman who wears heels. But she's like, no, don't do that. You're going to ruin your feet. But maybe you won't. Some people love to wear heels.
Well, I have to say, if you're going to be doing a lot of walking and not necessarily going to locations like the Eiffel Tower, but you have to remember that there are a lot of cobbled streets in Paris.
Yes.
So you really have to wear something that's going to give you some stability.
Yeah. Yeah. She was suggesting maybe picking leather tennis shoes or tennis shoes that have interesting textures, maybe a swath of suede or something like that. Not really kind of whole, okay, my husband came home with some shoes the other day that are completely black. All of it is black. Same shine of black. And I thought, I don't love those because they're boring visually. It's just all black. And I think maybe if you find some tennis shoes that have a little bit of texture or maybe a hint of color somewhere, I'm not saying garish colors, but, a little stripe of something interesting or whatever, I think it might be good.
Right.
She was telling me that when we were young, our mother would put on a pretty Sunday dress, to her and us, and we didn't, people don't do that so much anymore. But if you have pretty Sunday dresses that are made of kind of a classic fabric, a nice fabric, you can bring those and wear them, but wear them with tennis shoes or maybe a perfecto leather jacket. Is that a thing in English?
I have never heard of that phrase before.
Ah, okay. So it's a French thing. It's a type of leather jacket. It kind of crosses over the chest. I'll put a picture of it on the page for this episode. So she would wear, a pretty Sunday dress with a leather jacket or a jean jacket just to break things up. Right. And no formal shoes, like just tennis shoes or something.
Right.
And the same with a casual cotton dress. If you have a casual summer dress, then mix it with dressier shoes or dressier accessories.
Well, I think a lot of this also, everything that you're talking about is, again, trying to own your clothes and make your own personal style. And so you don't look like you just went to whatever store you're talking about and walked out just with everything from the same store.
Yeah.
That it's really about mixing and matching and coming up with a way to make it your own style.
Yes. And she was talking about jeans. She has some jeans that have holes in them, the stylish holes. And she says that at her age, at 50, she really should never wear those things, but she still does sometimes.
There gets to be a point where you get past being cool, and then you just kind of look like you're poor. Well, she looks much younger than her age, but still, she's saying, I need to cut this out. But she says younger women can get away with, younger people can get away with a lot of stuff that the rest of us can't.
Exactly.
I can't get away with skinny pants or skinny jeans anymore. I tried it once. It looked really, really sad. Nothing goes better with skinny jeans than a muffin top. So.
But she was saying, if you're going to wear jeans with holes, then dress it up with nice shoes with heels and a nice looking leather jacket.
Well, you want it to look like it's on purpose and what you're doing.
Yes. So slacks with a dress shirt, but tennis shoes. The boyfriend cut loose jeans, but with dressy heels. You can wear dressy shorts if you want, with pleats or classy fabric, but then tennis shoes. If you're wearing jean shorts, wear the dressier ballerinas or the dressier women's shoes. She was saying that if you wear shorts and heels, that's trashy. If you wear, this is another thing that she made me laugh with this one. She says you can either show off your legs or your boobs, but not both. So if you're going to
I don't
have...
know. Maybe it depends on what you intend, where you want the evening to go. Who knows?
That is correct. But for most occasions, you want to show off your legs with short shorts, if you can get away with this, but then wear a looser top and don't show any cleavage. Or you could show cleavage and have a really fitted top, but then longer pants,
Well, and I would also say, transitioning over and taking this over to like guys. Again, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in France wear a shirt that didn't have sleeves, which is a thing in America.
What do you mean a shirt that doesn't have? Oh,
like a sleeveless T-shirt, or a T-shirt with the arms cut off, or even a tank top or something like that.
Yeah, no, they will wear that if they're playing boule, if they're playing, outside. But that's old guys who are just hot and they take off their shirts.
Right.
And they're wearing what are those called? Wife beaters?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go there, but yes, that is what you call them.
Sorry, that's the name I know. They might have some other names.
See, no, you can only wear them if you wear the beret, because you have to just like really go after the full look.
Excellent.
And you have to have like a little cigarello too, like.
Excellent. So if you're gonna wear jeans, maybe put on a nice iron shirt or a nice blouse. Something, maybe it could have a neck or no neck, but it would have to be, the jeans go with something dressier on top.
Right.
And I kept asking them, but what about t-shirts? And they said, well, why t-shirts if they have a nice neck and maybe one big word? Those would be fine for younger people, but no Mickey Mouse, no bright colors,
Well, and again, for guys, you can always wear a t-shirt with a jacket. Like if you've got a sports coat and you want to be casual, wear a t-shirt and wear a sports coat over it, and then pair it with jeans, and you're fine.
Yes, and then you have the Steve Jobs look with a turtleneck with a sports jacket on top. That's nice looking, I think.
It's better, maybe Don Johnson. Remember Miami Vice?
Somebody asked about the yoga pants or the leggings. They are not really worn in the city unless people are doing sports. But I guess if you really love your leggings, you could wear them with a classy top, something so kind of casual on the bottom, classy on top.
Right.
Last winter, fishnet tights were very in fashion, and very opaque tights, which to me didn't make any sense. I'm like, well, if you're going to wear fishnets, why? Yeah, no, she was saying light colored tights were out. So
see, that's the type of thing that changes so fast that you never know till. And like I said earlier, it's like go take whatever you're going to wear and then buy your tights when you're there.
Yes.
Right? So that you see what people are wearing, because you're not going to know until you go.
Yeah. And then overall, she was saying, like get a nice haircut, do a color if you do that. Just make the whole package look as nice as you can.
Right. I usually get my hair cut about 2 weeks before, I go, so that it grows in, so that you don't look like you're just out of the salon. So it's a little bit softer. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could bring accessories if you have them, or buy them right there. That's also a very good suggestion. Scarves are huge. Necklaces. French women like to really wear big, bright, bulky necklaces. Like some of them, I'm like, how much does this thing weigh? Women my age especially do that a lot, and I'm not into it, but it's and they will wear like a big old necklace with little shiny earring or something. It's kind of interesting. Different color purses. You don't have to have an expensive purse, but they do like to have, if that's your accent, your color that you're going for, well, then put it in the purse or put it in a scarf or something like that. Caps, for men, they're okay, but it's not going to be classy. So they'll know you're not French, because most French men don't wear caps.
It's a pretty American thing.
Yes. I mean, who cares? that they know that you're not French. That doesn't really matter. But whatever you do, don't wear it backwards, and don't wear, your classic sports cap with like a raptor on it, or whatever team.
Oh yeah. No, actually, don't even wear them. Here.
Right. But if that's something you wear at home, maybe bring a leather cap instead, or
what
or
about like
linen.
a driving cap?
What's a driving cap?
A driving cap is it's kind of like a British thing. It's one of those caps. It's almost like a beret with like a bill on the front. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're kind of like unconstructed, but they're not actually like baseball caps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, baseball caps are pretty iconic. So I think if you're going to wear a baseball cap, you're pretty much owning the fact that you're an American, which is fine. But you definitely are going to stand out.
Yeah. My husband he's going a little bald on top. And so he likes to hide his hair. And so he wears these caps, but he's gotten some. I mean, it's still a cap with a little visor in front, but they are more square looking, or they are tighter looking, or, they just look a little bit different. Not your typical, and it works. It really works. Okay. So now I have some notes about fashion for young people in France. T-shirts are fine for young people so long as they are elegant, neutral, and they are harmonious with the rest. And don't throw on a t-shirt just to get dressed. That was the gist, I think they were repeating that a lot because that's what I do. Because sometimes my sister looks at me like, yes. Oh, I know this. My sister looks at me sometimes when I show up at her house, and she's like, did somebody just fling things at you and you put them on? But it's true. Sometimes I do that. If I'm not going to work, or if I don't have a meeting with clients or something, I don't care. So if you have funny shirts, that funny words or whatever, jokes, shirts, that type of thing, these are not big in France. People wear them when they're jogging or something.
I also think it's going to be difficult because, no, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I think it's also difficult because those funny shirts are also so culturally based.
Yeah.
So it may be something that's really funny to an American and something that could be really offensive to somebody, who's not in on the joke.
Yeah, that's true. So avoid those if you can. Go with more, passe-partout. I don't know how to say that in English.
Don't ask me. That's beyond my French.
Passe-partout means something that would do anywhere you go.
Oh, okay.
So, most people I talk to think that yoga pants and leggings are not to be worn as pants. So they said those are not pants. Those are for exercising, or if you wear something over them. So if you have a big coat, if it's a winter and you're wearing a big coat, okay, no problem. But if it's just yoga pants for the sake of wearing yoga pants, no. French women will wear either slacks or, what do you call these other ones? Nice fabric kind of pants.
Trousers.
They can be, trousers. They can be of all cuts and shapes, but not yoga pants. You could do a t-shirt with a nice pair of classy jeans and heels, or classy, anything that you slip on, but classy. If there's a trend for the baseball hats, you could do that. But one of my nieces said that paperboy hats are in fashion. I had to look those up. It looks like a little bigger beret.
Okay, I'm actually online right now. I've got to look that up because I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, they look nice. They look like an oversized beret to me.
Oh, yeah, well, that's actually kind of the driving cap that I was, except they go up a little bit more than the driving cap that I was talking about.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's somewhat similar.
Yes. And the last few years, we've had these types of sneakers that have come back into fashion. I don't know if these were big in the US, but Stan Smith sneaker tennis shoes were really big in France when I was growing up. They are mostly white with a little green thing in the back, a green tab in the back. they're coming back like nobody's business. Apparently, there's Adidas does a shoe called Superstar. They're fashionable. Nike does a shoe called Air Force One. That's fashionable right now. White leather sneakers are also fashionable. You know, you can put them on with nice jeans or a blazer. You know, but don't try to match things too much.
Right. Actually, Adidas is making some really cool suede tennis shoes right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those would look really nice, I think.
Right.
Suede, I mean, you'll get wet and they might get ruined, you know.
Well, that's. I think it's a lot different what time of year you're going.
Yeah.
I think you have to keep that really in mind because you do get weather. I mean, the weather. I mean, as much as I love Paris, the weather can be pretty unpleasant.
Yes, it sucks. Yes, Paris weather sucks.
Between that and the wife beater, you're a real charmer this morning.
Well, no, any French person will tell you. People in Paris will tell you.
I know. I've got a really good friend who grew up in Paris, and she said that her sister's actually who has lived there. She lives in America now. Her sister still lives in Paris, and she's thinking about actually moving to Toulouse because she just can't handle the weather anymore.
Yeah, no, it's gray and rainy most days. Not in the middle of the, starting early June and into late September, the odds are good that you'll get nice weather, but not necessarily. So There you go.
It is still Northern Europe, so
yes. For colors, you don't have to wear black. I've heard so many people tell me. People in Paris all wear black. No, they don't. I mean, a few do, but not really. You can wear any sort of blues, whites, blacks, gray. If you want something highlight, like you were talking about a purple sports coat or something red for a highlight, yellows and greens. My sister told me about this beautiful woman she saw that was wearing light kind of cream suede shoes, and she also had this striking green purse to go with. Right. And she was like, wow, those are not colors she would have thought to put together, but it looked really good.
Right. Although I will have to say, if you do stick to the neutrals, the blacks, the grays, the off-whites and stuff like that, it does make it easier to pack because you can pack fewer things and you can just rotate things around.
Yes.
And if it's basic and it's black, like your hotel's not going to notice that you're wearing the same sweater that you wore 2 days ago.
Yeah, they don't. They don't care anyway.
They don't care anyway. Anyway,
they really don't care. But what French people do that I'm learning to do, but this is a new concept for me, is changing up jackets. Just like I see my daughter's girlfriend, before she leaves the house, she will try on 10 jackets just to see how it looks with the rest of her outfit. Sometimes it's a bit annoying, but she always looks very nice. And she has all of these jackets, and they're not particularly well-made jackets or jackets that it's just fashion jacket. It's not just stuff she's going to wear this season. Maybe it'll come back in a couple of seasons, but it's not something that she'll wear. Like me, I have a nice winter coat. I have a nice raincoat. And I don't have 20 jackets, but apparently I'm doing it wrong.
Well, good luck packing 20 jackets, but
that's true. You have to be more.
Before we go much further, I wanted to go back to when you were talking about dressing like you really, were trying to dress and not just throwing, things on. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. The first time that we went to Paris, we were really busy. We own our own business and we were slammed with work before we went. So I think I spent all of about 2 hours packing. Mm-hmm. So I just and I knew it was going to be wet. So, I wore warm clothes, but, I knew I needed some shoes that were going to be waterproof. So I just threw on some duck boots. I don't know if you even have duck boots in
no.
France.
I know what they are, but
yeah, so they were trendy that year or whatever, so I didn't even think about them. And I had some flannel plaid shirts and things like that and jeans. And I have to say, I was walking around, and after being in Paris for about a day or so, I actually felt really uncomfortable, and I felt like I stood out.
Yeah, the duck shoes will do it. Yeah.
Yeah, the duck shoes definitely did it. And but so the second time that we went, I actually put a lot more time into packing and trying to look a little bit more sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually noticed a really big difference in the way that people who interacted with us treated us. And even to the point where the first time we went, I think we got a lot more scam artists coming up to us.
Oh,
and
wow.
the people with the petitions, the people who have like the lost wedding rings, the people who do all those types of things, like on the Pont des Artistes.
Yes.
We got hit up the entire, we couldn't go like 5 feet without getting hit up by somebody again. And the second time that we dressed a little bit better, like nobody came up to us.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm always noticing the scam artists because I'm, I that's what I do. I notice them, but I'm surprised that it made that big of a difference. That's really good to know.
Yeah, there was like one time, there was one woman who walked up to me with, a wedding or, the ring thing. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of like raised one eyebrow and she put her head down and walked away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Maybe explain the ring thing because maybe some people don't know what that is.
The ring thing's really weird. It's like you'll be in touristed areas and somebody will come up to you with a ring and they'll say, I found this ring. Is this your wedding ring? Mm-hmm. And you say, no, it's not mine. And then they're like, oh my God, we have to find whose ring this is. And they try and engage you. And I've never known if it's then by trying to engage you, somebody's coming back behind and pickpocketing you. I've also read that it's something where they try and sell you the ring. And, it's a weird scam. It's a really weird scam, but it happens all the time.
Most of the scams that happen in Paris have to do with engaging the person. And so the best thing you can do is don't just walk on. Don't engage. Don't talk.
Right.
That's the best thing you can do.
Right.
All right. Let's go back to talking about shoes specifically. This is going to be a short section about shoes. They're the most important part of your outfit because you'll be walking a lot. To me, that matters. Probably I would build my outfit based on the shoes. Like, if I had to pick, that would be the first thing I pick and then move on to whatever else can go with it. You will probably walk, 15,000, 20,000 steps each day, which most of us don't do in a normal day. So be comfortable. Now, I know this older lady who swears, she invited me over and first thing in the morning, she was wearing heels. And we told her, but you don't have to dress up for us. It was at breakfast. She was serving us breakfast with heels on. And we just said, you don't have to dress up for us. And she said, oh, no. Flat shoes make my feet hurt. Huh. And these were big old heels.
Wow.
So whatever it takes for you, make sure your feet are happy.
Right. I've actually read that Beyonce never, even if she's cooking at home, she always wears spiked heels because she couldn't imagine never, not wearing them. So I guess whatever you want to own. But yeah, to your point, it's like you're going to walk. And most people, if they live in most places in America, drive almost everywhere. Mm-hmm. But when you're in Paris, you really are going to be walking all the time. So you really do. And make sure that you break your shoes in. Don't buy a new pair of shoes and take them. Yeah. Because it's like I couldn't imagine anything worse than trying to break in a new pair of shoes on a trip to Paris.
Exactly. Yes. And you can count on getting wet unless you're in Paris one of these late spring or summer where it's very dry, but we don't have a lot of those. So even in the spring or summer, you can count on getting wet sometimes. And I always recommend that people bring at least 2 pairs of shoes. I know we all try to travel very light. Some people try to come with just a carry-on.
Right.
It can be done, but you do need 2 pairs of shoes, I think.
Well, I would also say that if you're wearing 2 pairs of shoes, like I'll usually take a pair of athletic shoes or something that's a little bit more casual. And then if it's the wintertime, I'll take like waterproof boots, like Sorels or something like that. It's almost, but more stylish weatherproof boots. But I always wear the boots on the plane because they take up more space. So I just make sure that anything that's going to be too bulky, I wear when I'm on the plane, even if I take it off once, we take off. Yeah.
Can you manage to do a trip, like a 10-day trip to Paris with a carry-on?
Oh, we only do carry-on.
That's all you do? Wow.
Yeah. No, it's, we never fly where we have to do connections and we never do checked baggage.
Wow. See, I can't do that.
Well, I may have to do like a mid-trip, like you can either, some hotels actually have laundry service. I'm actually too cheap for that. So I'll actually wash stuff out like in the sink and leave it to dry in the shower. But, if you wear wool sweaters and trousers and things like that, and again, if you stick to one color range, then, you can just mix and match. You may not be a fashion plate every day.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're careful about the way that you pack, you definitely can get to it on Carolyn.
And there are laundromats in Paris. So you can do your laundry if you want to, but it's, it's...
Who wants to spend the time doing laundry when you could be out in Paris?
Exactly. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to skip a few things here because we've already talked about them. When it comes to the feet, we don't wear socks with sandals. No white socks with dress shoes. Kids can wear colorful socks, and I've seen grown-ups who wanted to be funny wear colorful socks, but the rest of us wear black socks. And break in new shoes before you arrive, as you were just mentioning the ballerina type shoes. I see them in the summer, but not so much in the winter. So, but if you love them, wear them. It's fine. And like Clark's kind of shoes, they're fine, but they'll know you're a hippie. But it's fine. So am I. It's okay.
You can wear Clark's, but only if you wear them with tie-dye.
Now, this is something that concerns me, but I have to wear orthotics because if I walk a lot, I get tendonitis under my feet, and that hurts like nobody's business. So I have to, if I know I'm going to be walking a lot, then I don't wear cute sandals. I don't wear anything that has heels. I have to have shoes where I can put in my orthotics, and so be it. That's really, really important because you don't want to have a problem with your, a physical problem with your feet or tendonitis or something like that just because you're walking so much. And one funny thing is, this is something that I like to do when I walk into a store, especially if it's like a bank or the guys at the phone stores. Right. They all have a uniform, and the uniform is a dress fit, a fitted suit, very, very fitted suit, a colorful dress shirt, and super pointy shoes. And I mean really pointy shoes. Yeah. So if you walk into a bank or a phone store, take a peek at that. It's not gone yet. I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it won't disappear overnight.
That's funny.
And then there's something by one of the listeners of the show, Robin O'Connor. She said, try Versailles walking in heels. Try sightseeing or walking around the Louvre in heels. It was a post like this that led me down the path of sore feet on my trip to Paris. I wanted to blend in and be fashionable. My poor feet. Everyone is wearing comfortable sneakers. Everyone, even the French. So, word to the wise.
Yep.
Just do whatever's comfortable for your shoes. Pants, I think I've said everything before. The yoga pants, the leggings, not so much. Sports pants, you won't really see. If they're working out or if they're a tough kid from the hood, yes. But basketball shorts are not okay.
Thanks.
But recently I saw a young man at the grocery store with basketball shorts on. So it can, this was not a part of France where he was a tourist. Yeah. So, it can happen here too. So maybe it's changing.
My son lives in them. He's 13 now and he lives in them. So we actually have to hide them before we pack. It's like, no, you can't wear those.
Yeah, at that age, kids are a little bit stubborn about what they'll wear. So...
I think we may be over the hump, but a couple of years, that's all he wanted to wear.
Yeah. Well. And, I wouldn't really fight them. They're kids. Kids get away with all sorts of things, even French kids. So I wouldn't fight it too much. Yeah, you know your limits.
Exactly.
We wear all sorts of jeans in France, all the shades of blue, black, all the shapes, the skinny, the bell bottoms, the loose, the high rise, the low rise. You will see some of everything. And it's really common to see French women wear skinny jeans with a dressy top or a nice jacket for work. And you will see some brightly colored jeans on occasion. They can look really, really stylish if you know how to pull it off. That's something that only some people can do. And when you're traveling, it might be easier to stick with the more typical jean colors, you know.
Right.
All right. The scarves. Let's talk about the scarves.
Love scarves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a real scarf person. I used to do it because of my being a Francophile. It always reminded me of being in France, so it was like something I incorporated into my dress when I came back to the States. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm in my mid 40s, I've realized I like them even better because they hide the fact that my neck is aging.
Oh, and they keep me warm. That's why I started wearing them. I can't believe I lived in cold parts of the U.S. and I never wore scarves. Right. And I moved back to France and everybody wears scarves. So I started trying it and I was like, oh, this actually feels really comfortable.
Yeah. When you get used to it, you actually kind of feel naked without them.
Yes, it's a little bit strange. And so now I'm gathering a collection of scarves that are for when it's too hot for scarves. So they're like super thin silk scarves. They won't make me too hot, but I feel naked without a scarf.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try that because I definitely, we're getting to the season right now in the U.S. that it's getting too hot. I even have some cotton. I have a cotton one that I bought the last time that we were in Paris. And even that one will get a little bit too warm. So I've got to find something to do in the summertime.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of jackets, but I certainly have a lot of scarves. Different colors, different shapes, all sorts of things. And at first I was very uncomfortable tying them. But now it's easy. I just don't even think about it. You just, you know.
Well, if people want it, because there are like hundreds of ways that you can actually do scarves. And if you go to YouTube and actually search up, how to tie a scarf, there are all sorts of videos, instruction videos for different things that you can do with scarves. And there's like hundreds of ways to tie them.
And I've seen places where they sell special scarves that have a special slit where you're supposed to put it on a special way. But honestly, you don't need that. You can do the same look with any plain old rectangular scarf. Some people like to tie the square ones, but you end up with more material. They keep you warmer, the square ones. The rectangular ones are a little bit easier to modulate the heat. To me, anyway.
All right.
T-shirts. I want to mention T-shirts. French men wear T-shirts, but it's usually when it's a really expensive T-shirt that everybody recognizes. And I had this good friend when I was in college in France, and when we moved back to France, she came to visit because she grew up in Toulouse like I did, and she was visiting her family. So we got together and I met her husband, and he's a Swiss guy, and I thought they were fairly wealthy, but the guy was dressed like a pauper to me. Oh. And I was like, wow, he's not a sharp dresser. And then my niece, who was visiting at the same time, she said, no, he had like $2,000 worth of clothes on him. Everything was brand. Everything was brand. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that. It looked so casual to me, but it was all branded. So, when people dress like that, they know what they're doing usually. French women over 40 don't really wear T-shirts. I do it at home, but not outside. So what do they wear instead? Well, they wear blouses or shirts with various shapes of necks, scallop necks, scoop necks, bateau necks, keyhole necks, halter necks, you name it. There's a bunch of them. And the good thing about those is you can throw a jacket over them and it looks really good. And when I was looking at the names of all these necks. I didn't know most of these names. So I'll put a photo in the show notes so you can take a look at what they mean. I'm learning new things every day.
Yeah, I think guys, if you're going to wear a t-shirt wearing a V-neck, actually is a little bit dressier.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though, and I don't think I've ever seen this in France, so I wanted to ask you, do guys in France wear polo shirts?
Not much.
I didn't think so. I couldn't remember ever seeing anybody wearing a polo shirt or a knit shirt with a collar on it.
No, it's unusual. That's something they will wear to go golfing.
Well, there you go.
Or to go do sports activities, but yeah, not strenuous sports activities.
Right.
So yeah, you don't see a lot of polo shirts. No, I'm sure you saw them more in the 80s because they were bigger then, but now I don't hardly ever see one.
Okay. Good to know.
Fitted clothes are a big thing. Most French people are slim and they care about staying slim and they care about wearing fitted clothes. I'm not slim at all myself. So when I came back from America, I had all my baggy shirts, all my baggy tops with me. And I've slowly had to adjust to wearing more fitted clothes because even as a plus size woman, it looks better. It really does. Now, if it's a workman, they're going to wear loose clothing. Okay. Again, it all depends on what you're doing. If you're going to your plumber job, it's fine to have baggy clothes. But if you're going to your office job, then you're going to be wearing fitted clothes.
Right.
And I liked what Steve Stegman, what he said. He said, for men, wear a scarf, wear tailored clothes. I bring my casual black Italian loafers, work out, CrossFit 6 times per week, and eat nothing but lean meats and veggies 6 months before Paris so you can wear those skinny tailored pants. Wow. Okay, I'm not sure everybody is ready to do that. I'm not ready to do that, but...
Well, I'm doing it.
See,
I started a periodic fasting diet last week where I don't eat 2 days out of the week to get ready.
2 days out of the week?
Yeah. And I see a trainer 3 days a week. So
oh, goodness.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah, you care a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty vain.
Yeah. No, I don't care at all. But see, my sister is like that. If she gains a pound, she will immediately lose it.
It's a really, really slippery slope.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've slipped all the way to the bottom. She's really, a lot of French people are very, very good at controlling what they eat most of the time. When we're out and about at restaurants, last night I went to a big party. I couldn't believe there was not anything there that was healthy. Everything was really fatty and delicious. But that was the party. And we all drank plenty. But then you go home and every night you eat a vegetable soup for dinner.
Right.
So
it's all about balance.
Yes. So, well, good for you that you are, fasting 2 days a week, that's a lot. 2 days in a row, no.
Yeah, no, it's any 2 days out of the week. It's a specific diet, and there's like a smoothie thing. So it's like you don't completely go without food, but you take your calories down to 600 per that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm in my late 40s now, so if I don't do something, it's going to be a mess.
Well, I'm supporting you. I think you're doing the right thing. Just don't ask me to do it.
All right.
All right, let's talk about bags. This is important for safety as well as looks. Women wear crossbody bags all the time, and men do it too. Yep. Men purses are really, really fine. They're kind of plain rectangular purses, but you will find them in all sorts of materials, all sorts of shapes. Well, not shapes, but sizes. Most of them, they're probably I don't know, a foot by not quite a foot, something like that, a little rectangle. And if you Google something like sac pour homme, you will find a
Man
ton of
bag.
them. Yeah, man bag. Yeah.
Hipster bags.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Hipsters don't like to be called hipsters, but yeah, for a while there was like a man bag thing that happened. It was like almost on a spaghetti strap or something with like a little, pouch.
Yeah, it's in France. It's mostly not spaghetti straps. It's just a regular strap. But even like sports, like Nike, Adidas make them. So if you want to not look too girlish, you could have a Adidas man bag.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and that's fine, and they cost €100. I mean, they're expensive.
Right. Well, I think one of the things somebody on the Facebook page a couple of weeks ago posted something about how they were planning on dressing, and it may have been in response to this podcast actually. And she mentioned that her husband was going to take a backpack with him to carry their stuff, which in some ways that was practical. But one of the things that caught me about that comment that I was concerned about was a safety thing, because when I'm traveling, I make sure that my wallet, my passport, they're always like in my front pockets. And if it were me and I needed to carry a bag, I would go with a messenger bag or a satchel or something like that so that I could do the crossbody and I could keep it in front of me.
Yes.
Because my concern about having a backpack is it would be so easy for somebody to come in and get the stuff out of it without you even knowing.
Yeah. And for photographers, this is a problem because photographers carry heavy equipment. And unfortunately, it's for me, all day with a messenger bag or a shoulder bag would be really hard. So every time I go out in Paris, I want to have a camera. So if I need to decide, do I take 2 or 3 lenses or just the one? Right. And if I take just the one, I can do that with a crossbody bag, but I can't do it if I'm going to carry all my lenses. And so but I've noticed that I mostly use I have a lens that's 17-40, and that's the one I end up using 90% of the time. So photographers, if you can stand to do that, just take the one lens and leave the rest in the hotel safe. And if you are going out that day, maybe if you're going out to a cathedral and you want to be able to take shots at a distance, well, then take your 200 lens, but don't carry it all the time because you won't use it all the time, and having the backpack puts you at risk.
Well, one thing that I've noticed I'm not a serious photographer the way that you are, but I do take a lot of pictures when we travel. And like the first time that we went to Paris, I had my camera, 35 millimeter camera, which I also think was one of the reasons why people, targeted me as a tourist more. Yeah. But ever since then, especially as cell phone cameras have gotten better. Oh yeah. Like I've got an iPhone 10 because I take a lot of pictures, and so I wanted the better camera. Yes. But I take all of my photographs now on my phone because usually it's just for memories and for Instagram and things like that. And I think that that's made it a lot easier in the way that, I travel. Yes.
And I agree with you. It's just that I'm a photo nerd and I like to look at my photos, and I take plenty of photos with my iPhone. And I agree that you get very nice photos, but the iPhone, there's some jobs you can't do with an iPhone.
Right.
So there's plenty you can do. Most things you can do. So if you're not a photo nerd, then disregard all this. Just take your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever it is and keep it safe, and you'll be fine.
Actually, I am going to interject because you can, because I even use my iPhone when I'm photographing my own work, and you actually can buy clip-on lenses for the iPhone.
You can,
So if you want to, you're not going to get the kind of quality that you're going to get when you are using your real phone, but you can actually get zoom lenses and wide angle lenses and stuff like that that you can clip on. But
yeah, I know people who've bought those and they don't ever use them. So
because you have to have a backpack to take it with you.
Exactly. Then you have an accessory. You have to have a bag with accessories. Honestly, the lighter you can travel, the better you're going to be. Yes. And don't take all of your credit cards with you, and don't take your driver's license with you, and leave all that stuff in the hotel safe. Take one credit card, take some cash, but the rest, even your passport, take a photocopy. That's it. You don't need any more than that. because if there was a problem and you needed to prove your identity, French police will totally understand. I'm afraid of getting robbed. I only have the photocopy. And they will ask you to produce the original at the gendarmerie at your earliest convenience, and you're done. It's not a problem.
It's one of my biggest fears about traveling is somebody lifting my passport.
Yes. So, or your phone.
Yeah.
Your phone. If somebody steals my phone, I'm in a world of hurt because everything is in there. And I don't remember. I don't have a paper agenda anymore. Like, if my phone was gone, how would I remember what I'm supposed to do?
Well, I actually always, over the last couple of years, we've transitioned into using our phones for tickets and things like that.
Right.
So if your phone's gone, your electronic tickets are gone, your Apple Pay is gone. I mean, that's bad.
Yes. So safeguard that with most of the time when I'm in Paris in a crowd, I have my phone in my hand. So in my hand, but not holding it up for anybody to grab. I have it in my hand in my pocket or something, but I'm holding on to it because I don't want it to go.
I use my front pockets. So my phone's in one pocket, my passport and my wallet's usually in the other. And I every 2 or 3 minutes touch my pockets to make sure that they're still there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's really funny because it's like one of my friend from Paris actually before we went the first time, she said, make sure that you're really careful about pickpockets. And I was like, God, you are so paranoid. And then we went.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, you were not. It's like that really is an issue.
Yes. Oh, it is. It is. There's 100. What was it that I looked at? I looked up the numbers for last week's episode. I think it was 140,000 theft of either your purse, your phone, things like that. Theft without any violence. 140,000 per year in Paris. And that was in 2016. That's a lot of robbers. That's a lot of people. But see, somebody today on the Facebook group said that she went to London first and then she's going to Paris and her friend's apartment got broken into and a lot of her stuff got stolen in London in her friend's apartment. So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. All right. Coats and jackets. Longer coats are really popular in the winter. Jackets with fur trim have been really popular the last few winters. I don't know if it's real fur or not real fur, but they look good. I don't know. And like I mentioned before, French, stylish French people have a whole collection of tops and jackets. So most of them are not very expensive, but they do look nice. And I guess if you're traveling and you can't bring that many jackets, then instead of accessorizing with the jacket, accessorize with your scarf or maybe your jewelry. It's smaller, lighter.
Yep. I definitely, when I travel, I think I mentioned I always wear one sports coat and I always wear it on the plane so that it doesn't get, creased or whatever else. And then usually I take it off as soon as we get settled in and everybody's luggage is in the overhead compartments. I'll take it off and then put it up there and then put it back on. Mm-hmm. But I find it's really important because, again, it is something that if you're going to go to a nice restaurant, and all that you've packed otherwise is like sweaters and things like that or T-shirts, it helps you get through the trip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. I think we've covered everything I had on my list. It's really, really important for you to remember that you are on vacation. You need to be comfortable. I'm sure you want to look fabulous, but don't just go for the look. Also go for the comfort.
Yeah, you've got to dress in a way that makes you feel secure, that makes you feel comfortable, that's not going to destroy your feet.
Right.
And it's going to keep you warm. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Right. And don't try to be somebody you're not just because you're coming to Paris. Bring yourself.
Exactly. Bring a smile.
Yes, a smile. Bonjour will go a long way.
Yes.
And French people do what they want. They do kind of tend to conform to certain dress rules, but they do what they want, and they will understand if you do too. So don't be, don't be too worried about it. Then there was this funny thing on a discussion we had on the Facebook group about being stylish in Paris. Jim Donna, I'm not sure how to say that name. Donna, probably. He says, if you can bring or borrow a dog, then all you need is to light up a cigarette and talk on your cellulaire while walking down the street to be an official Parisienne. There you go. And Judy Schillinglaw, she says, don't forget to wear a smile and say it. Bonjour. But I need to add, don't smile at everyone you come across on the sidewalk. Definitely, if somebody tries to engage you in whatever cockamamie plan they have in mind, walk off. Don't talk to them.
Yes, definitely.
This is very important. Okay.
Indeed.
I had a list of misconceptions I wanted to run through before we go. People say that French people always wear black or gray. That's not really true. In the winter, yes, we do wear a lot of dark colors, but in the summer, all the bright colors come out. It's whites, creams, everything comes out. I've also heard that you're not supposed to wear shorts in France. That is absolutely not true. It completely depends on what type of activity you're doing. We don't wear shorts to work, that's for sure. But if we're just going out to eat something casual, it's fine. If you go to the opera, don't wear shorts. I mean, it's just like common sense. You know what I mean? It just depends what you're going to be doing. But you will see French people with shorts all the time. The no tennis shoes is also not true. We have very fashionable tennis shoes that people notice that you're wearing the expensive tennis shoes. And also it's not true that French, when people say, oh, a French person would never go out dressed like that. Yeah. When you're in France, you're going to see people dressed every possible way, from super stylish to like, what are you trying to do here? So don't worry about it too much.
Indeed.
And that's awesome. It. I think we've wrapped it up. Do you have any last words of advice?
No, I think I'm all talked out.
All right. Well, thank you again very much, David. You've been very helpful because I didn't want to do this episode by myself, is the truth. Because I really feel like I shouldn't be giving fashion advice. Honestly, anybody who's met me in person will no, this woman has no place giving fashion advice.
Anytime you need me, I got your back.
Thank you so much, David. And have fun with your family. This is going to be a fun trip because it's going to be extended family.
Yeah.
So
it's my sister, her husband, and my parents. So it's going to be really interesting seeing how this one plays out. Yeah. And you're going to the Loire Valley this time. We are going to the Loire Valley. We're actually staying in just outside of Saumur. Yes, Saumur, yeah. Should be really interesting. Like my brother-in-law is actually a historian, so he's really interested in seeing a lot of the historical things that are there. Yeah, and my son is he does a lot of equestrian sports, and that's actually where all the horses are based. The Horse Academy. Oh yeah, Saumur. Yes, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Oh, fun. Yeah. Well, have a wonderful time, and thanks again for talking to me. Anytime, it's always a pleasure. Au revoir, cher ami. Au revoir. Thank you, Howard Hack, Melinda Cool, Pascal Radley, Lisa Spagnolo, and Joseph Wallen for pledging to support the show on Patreon this week. And thank you, Dawn Davis, for increasing your pledge. And my thanks also to all the other patrons who support the show month after month. Thank you for giving back. To support the show on Patreon, go to patreon.com/join us, Patreon. Join us, no spaces or dashes, and you guys rock. And thank you also, Mike August, for offering valuable help with graphics and great suggestions, and for being one of my biggest supporters. Without all of your support, this show would have stopped long ago because it's a lot of work and it cuts into the time I can spend on other paid work that I should be doing. But I'd rather do this because it's a lot more fun and it brings help to a lot more people. Now, I have to say that much of what we discussed in this episode is opinion. And if you don't like the opinion, feel free to ignore it.
I really don't want to get into arguments about what you wear in Paris because, like I mentioned in the episode, it's not my, it's not something I worry about all that much myself. But I do know that it's a commonly asked question, so I think it was good to tackle it. For my personal update, well, I'm very busy getting prepared for the upcoming tour. I'm very excited about it, and I look forward to meeting tour members. And I'm not sure what we are going to do about tours going forward because it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. But we'll announce something pretty soon with Elise. At Join Us in France, we put France in your ears, and you found the way that works for you to listen to the show. I hope you will help other people find the show too, so they can learn what they need to have a great time in France. Tell your friends that they can listen to the show with their Alexa smart speaker or with their smartphone using Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any number of podcast apps. They can even listen on the joinusinfrance.com website if they wish. To connect with me, email Annie at joinusinfrance.com or leave a message at 1-801-806-1015. You can also ask to join the Join Us in France closed group on Facebook. And when you do, please answer the questions so I know you're not a spammer. I'm at the point where I get so many requests that if the person can't be bothered to write one sentence, I won't let them in because these are not the kind of people who are going to be participating anyway, and the group is getting too big. It's too much work to handle all of that. So you're going to have to show me that you really want to be there. Otherwise, you're not going to be. Have a great week of trip planning, and I'll talk to you next week. Au revoir. The Join Us in France Travel Podcast is written and produced by Annie Sargent and copyright 2018 by Addicted to France. It is released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license.